Hey guys, May 2nd, Donald Miller. So, um, Pennsylvania construction opened back up, and as a foreman or as someone who is running a job, it doesn't matter if it's commercial or residential. You guys that are underneath of you, okay, there's always a pathway, and there's always steps that if a guy's trying to be a foreman, what is he lacking? What is how is he hurting himself? And some guys are blind to this, and they need advice. They need to be shown, or at least they need to be talked to about it. Okay, and I had like there's guys that I like on the job, and I don't have a problem paying their rate, but they hurt themselves, meaning they're not making more money because of their own actions. Okay, and a lot of times it's not necessarily the ability to perform a task. It's not that they don't know, and they think that they're rock stars or they think they're doing great, but they don't look at what do I need to do to get to that next level, to get to that next step. And that's where mentorship or guidance really needs to come into play, because you need someone there that's going to kind of to look out for your best interests, you know, like at least give you tips to how, like, where are you lacking, what needs to get done. And sometimes the person who is receiving this advice, they might just think you're yelling at them, and that's not the case a lot of times. And the reason why I'm stating this is, so we have a mechanic, okay, and we'll say his name begins with the letter D. So D, if you tell D to go do something, he can do it. Okay. The problem is, though, D isn't a foreman yet, and D isn't running the job himself yet. Even though he has the ability to do so, what's holding him back? All right. And it comes down to discipline and structure. These are the first two things you need to learn before you take on the next responsibility. So this is just for one job, and I'm going to give examples here. All right. So if you're foreman, or the next step, if you're a journeyman and you're trying to become a mechanic, okay, what you want to do is look at that mechanic on site, and make sure, don't strive to become a jackass mechanic. Look for a decent mechanic, or look for a foreman that's respectable. Okay. And if that foreman is showing up early, why? Why is he showing up early? And this is where the disciplines come in. Don't just if the yes, showing up early, definitely. If you're doing that, you're on the right path. But why is he showing up early? What is he doing in that time frame? Is he looking at the job? You have to, if you're striving to take that next step, the discipline and the structure are extremely important to learn the next step, especially if you already know how to do. If the foreman tells you to go fish this and you go fish it, if you're being told and you can do everything the foreman tells you, the next step is to learn to do it before he tells you. Learn the steps and the procedures so you don't have to be told. All right. And a lot of times when it comes into, mechanic to foreman, a foreman is very structured and disciplined. He has a lot of responsibilities, so you have to gear your lifestyle to handle responsibilities. You have to not. There's no calling out. There's no being late. Like, that's something that takes a lot of practice. But you're responsible for four guys, five guys, six guys underneath of you. So you have to be able to handle that burden of responsibility and show up every day and be the same though. And that's where a lot of guys, it's not just how good you are, it's how disciplined and structured you are so you can get the momentum of the job moving. And becoming a mechanic to a foreman, it takes a lot of practice. It's not, you just can't just jump right into it. I guess for some you can, but a lot of people need help with this. And when they get criticized, they think they're getting criticized because they're not doing their mechanical part of the job correctly, and that's not it. It often comes down to how are you structured at the end of the day? Like how are you eating? How are you sleeping? Like your life structure is what really benefits you to become a foreman is mastering that life structure, is mastering communicating, mastering putting guys where they need to be to utilize what they're capable of to the best of their ability. And that takes like a lot of time. If you're going to be a foreman or you want to be a foreman, you better start looking at good foremen and see what they're doing. Okay, they're not just having a good time. They have good relations with everyone on site because they need to have good relations with everyone on site. They need to be able to get the job running smoothly because that's their job. All right. So with this one individual, his his lifestyle outside of the job is actually what he needs to start working on, and he needs to realize there's a maturity level that comes with a foreman position, and it doesn't matter how old you are. All right, I was able to be a foreman at 25 or 26 because I was able to discipline myself to the point where when 7 a.m. hit, like I was thinking how to get this job done and placing guys in the correct way, having a uniform lunch break, how do I address problems? How like it's not all fun and games. If you get it to the point where the job's running real smoothly, then yes, it actually does become an enjoyable job site. But to get it to that smooth running nature, on time, efficient, no mistakes, it takes a lot of hard work. And that comes with maturity. Okay. So mechanics that are even, if you want to go journeyman to mechanic and then mechanic to foreman, it it's not just your abilities as it's not just your electrical abilities, but it's also how you approach daily tasks that will benefit you. Okay. And it's hard to tell someone that. It's easy to tell someone that, but in order to keep a good relationship up and teach them, you have to bring it about it a certain way so they don't get offended or they don't think you're attacking them. And that was a big thing for me. As the older I get, I'm learning more and more how to approach people and point out their weaknesses without them getting offended. That's a skill because you do it the wrong way, a guy's gonna be like, "Screw you, get away from me!" Like, just get away from. I don't care what you say. You can say this. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm just gonna nod and smile until you walk away, and then I'm just gonna give you the bird as you're walking away. Um, but it's a shame, like especially with D, like D's getting up there in the ages, and it's his maturity level of how he approaches problems and how he approaches the workflow and the job management is actually what is hindering him from the next steps. And you can't tell someone, well, you can, that he needs to take responsibility for his life and organize his life. If his I've never seen a really good foreman and then the foreman's life is a mess. It doesn't work that way. You want to, if you can organize your life, you're going to organize the job. And the more organized your life is, the more organized your job can become. So it takes time to learn these things, okay? And you should practice with what you're capable of doing right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. If you're looking at getting organized, Organize everything you have, from your car to your sleeping schedule to your eating schedule to how however detailed and organized you want to be in your private life. Practice there. That's where you want to practice. And then bring it into what you do on the job. And it will benefit you. I promise you that it will benefit you if you start taking these practices. So this was just a tip for the day for guys that are wondering why they're not advancing. Well, one, if you're with a crappy company, or if you're with a company that's all about sales, I'm warning you now that it might not be right for you. Okay, we're not a sales driven company. We are a tradesman driven company. So I would rather have my mechanics being honest with the homeowner and not just trying to sell them constantly, and not using safety as a sales pitch. Okay, I think that's disgusting. Yes, the electrical is dangerous and we need to provide a level of safety to the homeowner, but using safety as a sales pitch and then price gouging the homeowner is a disgusting practice that I'm seeing more and more today. And I don't like it. I don't want my mechanics to become that way. I understand the company needs money, but my gosh, like it's getting disgust like, and I'll go into more of that on a different day. I wanted to just talk about this today. God bless. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on the next tip of the day.